They said Jane was lucky, that she was living every woman's dream. But behind the expensive jewelry and perfect smiles was a heart craving something deeper. And in her search for attention, she crossed a line that would cost her everything. Welcome to African Tales by Ella. From the outside, Jane lived the kind of life every woman prayed for. At just 26, she was married to Chief Duru, one of Enugu's most successful businessmen, a car dealer whose name was spoken with admiration and respect. Their home stood like a symbol of comfort and class, white marble floors that shone even in the dark, velvet curtains that swayed when the breeze passed, and a driveway filled with cars that made passers-by slow down just to admire. Every morning, Chief Duru made it a ritual to surprise his wife with something new, a rose on her bedside, breakfast served before she even got out of bed, little handwritten notes that said, "To my queen, for making every day worth coming home to." He pampered her like a rare jewel. Birthdays meant new jewelry. Anniversaries meant vacations abroad. Even random Tuesdays felt like celebrations, designer handbags, fine perfumes, spontaneous dinner dates. He never let her lift a hand for anything. The cook handled meals, the driver handled errands, the cleaner handled the smallest speck of dust. All Jane had to do was look beautiful, host friends, and smile for photographs. In church, people whispered when they saw the couple walk in together, perfectly dressed and glowing. "God, give me a marriage like the Durus," women would pray. "See how he looks at her," others sighed. Jane herself used to smile at those whispers. She felt lucky, blessed, even. But what people didn't see was the loneliness that sometimes sat quietly beside her at night. Chief Duru's business was growing fast, and so was his distance. While she had everything money could buy, what she wanted most, his time, his laughter, his warmth, began to fade with each passing year. He wasn't unkind, he was simply unavailable. He'd kiss her on the forehead before trips and say, "Just 2 days, my love." But those 2 days often became 5, sometimes 10. At first, she filled the silence with Netflix and shopping. Then, with new hobbies, cooking classes, painting, and eventually the gym. That was where her story took a turn no one saw coming. Jane joined Titan Fitness Center, a polished, glass-walled gym where music never stopped. Toby, a guy in his 30s, fit, charming. A personal trainer with confidence louder than his whistle. He helped clients believe in themselves. His smile made everyone feel noticed. On Jane's first day, she tripped slightly on the treadmill. "Easy there, Toby said, laughing. "The treadmill runs, you walk. Don't compete with it." She laughed, a genuine laugh she hadn't felt in months. Soon, Toby became her trainer. 3 sessions a week turned to 5. He encouraged her, complimented her form, shared smoothies after workouts. He asked harmless questions that slowly became personal. "Your husband must be proud. You talk about him so glowingly," Toby said. "He's busy. But yes, proud." Toby had met many women at the gym, models, bankers, even celebrities, but none ever made him pause like Jane did. From the first day she walked in, dressed in soft peach leggings and a simple ponytail, he noticed something different. She wasn't loud or showy like most clients. She was graceful, calm, yet distant, like someone carrying quiet pain behind a perfect smile. When she smiled, it was polite. When she laughed, it sounded like music he hadn't heard in a long time. And for reasons he couldn't explain, he wanted to be the reason she laughed again. At first, he treated her like every other client, professional, encouraging, nothing personal. "You're doing great. Just 1 more rep. You'll see results in no time." But the more time he spent with her, the more his focus drifted from her posture to her presence. He'd catch himself watching her reflection in the gym mirror longer than he should. He started adjusting other clients' schedules, just to make sure he trained her privately. He told himself it was harmless, admiration, nothing more. But deep down, he knew what was growing inside him wasn't ordinary. When Jane began to open up about her life, her husband's long business trips, her empty evenings, her craving for conversation, Toby felt both pity and excitement. Each confession she made drew him closer. He started calling her, with a softness that almost sounded romantic. When she missed a session, he texted, "Your absence made the gym too quiet today." He began bringing her smoothies after workouts, small notes with motivational quotes, even music playlists. It wasn't long before Jane stopped calling him my instructor. She began saying, my friend. But for Toby, friendship was no longer enough. He was falling in love, deeply, foolishly, and helplessly. He imagined what life would be like beside her, not behind her treadmill. He began to resent the unseen man, who had everything he wanted, her husband. In his heart, he felt like he could treat her better, love her louder, make her happier. Each smile she gave him fueled that belief. Each kind word from her mouth became a promise his mind invented. Toby knew it was wrong. He knew she belonged to another man. But love, or what he thought was love, made him deaf to reason. Every look, every soft laugh, every moment alone with her felt like fate calling his name. And so, what began as innocent admiration slowly became a dangerous desire, the kind that would soon cost him everything. For the first time in a long while, someone listened to her feelings instead of her finances. Their chats extended to WhatsApp, "Good morning Queen, don't forget water, how's your day?" When Chief Duru traveled, Toby would drop by with protein shakes, just to check her progress. He was fun, spontaneous, attentive, everything Chief Duru's schedule had stolen. The lines blurred. One evening, after a stressful day, Jane broke down at the gym. Toby hugged her, she didn't pull away. That moment planted the seed of something they both knew was wrong. Days later, she invited him to the house when her husband flew to Lagos. What began as, "Help me with stretches," ended with them crossing the one line that could never be erased. Mr. Duru returned early from a business trip and sensed a shift, Jane's sudden perfume changes, the way she kept her phone face down. He didn't explode. Instead, he called his friend, Detective Josh, who specialized in quiet investigations. Within a week, pictures arrived. Jane laughing with Toby outside the gym, his hand brushing hers, the same car parked near her estate twice in one evening. Chief Duru closed the envelope slowly, pain tightening his chest. But his expression stayed calm. "So this is the man who exercises her heart, while I chase contracts," he said to himself. He needed proof, but more than that, he wanted lesson, not vengeance. 4 weeks after their first secret meeting, Jane and Toby kept seeing each other. Sometimes it was coffee after gym hours, sometimes a weekend drive to clear her head. Each time, they promised themselves it would be the last. Each time they broke that promise. Toby began to believe their closeness was love. But what he didn't know was that Chief Duru already knew every detail, every outing, every meeting spot. He even knew the night they planned to meet again. That Friday, Chief Duru told his wife he would be in Abuja for 2 nights. He kissed her forehead, wheeled his travel bag out, and drove off. Only Jane didn't notice that one of his security men stayed behind in a small flat across the street, watching. When evening came, Toby arrived with wine and confidence. The house was quiet, lights soft, music low. They talked, laughed, and for a while forgot the world outside. But as the clock neared midnight, something strange happened, a heaviness in the room, an air that felt wrong. Jane felt it first, a sudden chill, like the atmosphere itself disapproved. Toby tried to move, but his body stiffened. His face twisted in confusion. Jane gasped. She reached for him, and then she too froze in shock. The two of them couldn't move apart. Fear filled their eyes. When the door creaked, Jane froze. The smile on her face died. Toby turned, his confidence melted. Standing in the doorway, framed by the light from the hallway, was the man whose shadow kept their secret company all this time. "So this is where my love ends?" Chief Duro asked. No one answered. He looked at Toby, eyes steady, voice low but heavy with disappointment. "I gave you respect, young man. You train people's bodies, not destroy their homes. You came into my house, my peace, my name. Why?" Toby dropped his gaze. Words failed him. Then Chief Duro turned to Jane. His voice broke slightly, not from anger, but from the weight of betrayal. "Jane, tell me, what wrong did I do to you? Did I starve you? Deny you comfort? Refuse your dreams? Every cloth you wore, I bought. Every smile, I worked for. The world prayed for our marriage, and you made it a story of pity." Jane fell to her knees, trembling. "I'm sorry. I don't know what came over me." Tears rolled down his cheeks. It was the first time she had ever seen her husband cry. The silence that followed was heavier than any shouting could be. Finally, he took a slow breath. "You both have taken what can't be returned, trust. Leave before sunrise. I will not curse you, but I will not forget." He turned away, walking toward the door. Each step echoed through the marble hall like a closing chapter. Jane's sobs filled the space. Toby stood frozen, shame written on his face. Outside, the night air felt colder than usual, even the stars refused to shine.